Hello, everybody. Welcome to Amazing You. I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a past life regression practitioner, Mars Venus life and relationship coach, astrologer, tarot reader, and life force compassion practitioner. And today, I have the great pleasure to introduce you to a very good friend of mine that I met when I did the hypnotherapy course. And that lovely lady is Sara Nativi. Sara Nativi is a coach and a hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy. And Sara is based in Belgium. So welcome, Sara, to Amazing You.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is so great to catch up with you after many years that we trained together. So it's an honor to have you to talk to the audience today.
Thank you so much.
So tell us, Sara, about your story.
Yes, with pleasure. So I'm 25 years old. I am originally Italian. I was born in Padova. And since I was a small child, I started ballet. It was something that I didn't really have a choice because my mom was a ballet teacher. So I always had done that my whole life. And then when I was 14, 15, I decided that would have been my profession. And so I started training very hard. I went abroad to study in a big professional ballet school. And then already at 17, I started the career because, ballet dancers, they start pretty early. Yes. And so I was dancing and I worked in several theaters around the world. I got to travel. I got to dance amazing repertoire.
Right.
But I wasn't feeling totally fulfilled.
Okay, because it was more of your bum stream.
Definitely. Yeah. And that was a realization that I got so much time later, thanks to RTT and the subconscious work. Okay. I realized I was trying to please my mom through me doing ballet. Yeah. And so already when I was 14, 15, I was struggling with my body. I wasn't happy with how I looked. I always felt like something was missing. And my body wasn't the perfect body to be a ballet dancer. And very few bodies are the perfect bodies to be a ballet dancer. We're speaking about like a 0.5% of the total population because there are so many criteria that you have to tick that it's almost physically impossible. Perfection is not attainable and the balletic body should be perfect. So already there was a lot of internal struggle, perfectionism, feeling imposter syndrome, feeling like I wasn't good enough. And all of this turned into an eating disorder. So it started with anorexia when I was 14, and then the eating disorder mutated. So I went through phases of binging and purging, emotional eating, body dysmorphia, which basically means looking in the mirror and not seeing what you actually are, seeing a completely different image of you. Yeah. And that is something that really affected my life. It was a dramatic event in my life, and I carried it with me throughout my balletic career. And towards the last years of my balletic career, before I decided to quit, which is, the next chapter of my life.
Yes.
Then I managed to beat it, to break free from this obsession around food. And then everything changed. I realized that I was being a ballet dancer to please a lot of people, my mom, and then all my ballet teachers.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, this is my life. I'm going to start being myself or trying to discover who I am.
Yes. Yes. And doing the things that you like.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Following my heart. That's something that I keep reminding myself every day. And as I build my business is something that I really am passionate about. I'm like, what does my heart want? What do I want to create?
Yes. Yes. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I can as well. We tend to be people pleasers, to do what our family wants for us. And I remember a story, not a story, a real life case of one of my flatmates in Australia when I was studying. And every night he would come very late. And one day I say, I need to wait and talk to him. I want to find out who he is, who is my flatmate. And one night, I talked to him and he told me he is learning to become a pianist. But his whole life, like you, he was pleasing his family and he trained as a lawyer and never liked it. So now that he's following his heart like you and following his passion, he told me that he's so happy playing piano that he can play for hours, and that's his passion. That's what he wants to do. So I think it's great that you talk about that, about following your passion and following your heart, which is very, very important. And that many of us, we are so programmed by our environment that we forgot who we really are.
Exactly.
Yes.
As you say, it's listening to my heart. I had gotten so detached from it that at first I didn't even know what I wanted. Even in real life, I could never make a decision. I would stand at the store, I wouldn't be able to know what groceries to buy,
Okay.
Every choice for me was impossible. The hardest process ever, because I had lost completely the sense of who I was and what I wanted and where my heart was.
Yes. And what helped you to make that shift, Sarah? Like to realize that you were not doing what your heart wanted you to do, what you wanted to do. What was it? The hypnotherapy? What modality that helped you think, the most in that process of rediscovering you?
Yeah, it was a really funny story how I came across the journey that then led to my liberation, I consider it.
Yes, it
Because
is.
my obsession was losing weight.
Okay.
I always needed to lose weight. Whatever weight I was, I wanted to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came across Marissa Peer because she is very well known. So Marissa Peer is the woman that trained both of us,
Yes.
amazing psychotherapist. And she made this recording, which is called Diet Less Life.
Okay.
And so it's a hypnotic recording, and I listened to it a couple of times, and I was shedding weight, and I was eating the best foods for my body. Everything was going wonderfully, and I was like, how is this possible? This hypnotic recording just changed my life, and I didn't know what hypnotherapy was. I just thought it was pendulums on stage and weird things and stuff like that. I was very close-minded, even to self-help books or getting help. I would not be vocal at all. Like nobody would have known that I had an eating disorder. It was like I was like that, completely closed. So it all started like that. And then I watched more videos and I heard about the rules of the mind and I heard about the subconscious mind. And that was it. When my logical mind started to understand, the hard science behind what we do in our sessions with hypnotherapy, then my whole body started accepting it more, and I started opening up to going back in the past, discovering why is it that I always feel like I need to please my mom and I don't have the right to please myself? Where is that lack? Why am I lacking a sense of I am good enough or I am loved? Why am I running around trying to get this love from people?
So you went to the root cause of your issue.
That's it. Exactly.
Yes. And like you said, your eating disorder, like suffering from binge eating and anorexia, so many other people as well, they suffer from bulimia, which is another type of eating disorder. And many people, or people just also who put on weight, they believe that it is due to food, but it is much more than that, isn't it, Sarah?
Definitely. So the way we eat reflects the way we relate to ourselves. Like our mental health, our self-love, it all translates in how we feed our body, how we take care of our body. So it's so much more than food, as you say. And through food, we can get to healing really deep things, which is why I'm really passionate about conveying this message to other people. The toughest moment in my life was the portal of entry for me to go inside and transform my life. It wasn't something that I want to erase from my life, because without that, the transformation wouldn't be there.
Yes. And so many people go on diet as well, They've been going, I've heard that so many times and everywhere people are going for diet, taking all sorts of diet, but still not losing weight. And it's not to do with the diet. but it's to do with the emotional issues that are trapped in their body that they need to release. So I think people need to start thinking carefully when they go through these diets, because it might help for a short while being on those diets, but it doesn't help in the long run. They go back to their weight that they were before. So it's worth investigating, finding a therapist, either Sara, or you can contact me, or any other therapist, I think would help you to go to the root cause of your issue.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you, Sara. What a journey. I remember you told us, but it was a while ago. And I'm glad you refreshed my memory today about your journey, how the hypnotherapy has changed your life. Thank you for being a proof of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And can you tell us what has been the greatest challenge in your life, Sara, and how did you overcome it?
Mm-hmm. The greatest challenge has been using this thing that happened, the eating disorder when I was 14, turning it around and having that empower me. Mm-hmm. So the challenge would have been overcoming the eating disorder, but also letting go of a diet mentality, I need to restrict, I need to count how many calories I'm eating, together with taking care of myself. So it's like 3 pieces of this puzzle. They've been the greatest challenge of my life. And coincidentally, they're the thing that I help people with, so it's...
Yes, that's great, because I can relate to that. When we have traumas, it does impact on our eating habits. I was like you. I was always thinking I need to be slim because of the trauma I had in my childhood. I always had a body, and I was always conscious of my weight. I always was exercising, over-exercising, and I always was size 10, and I wanted to be slimmer and slimmer. It's like I never knew until I did the hypnotherapy like you, and I discovered it was more about pleasing other people, never pleasing myself. And oh my God, it has been life-changing. Now I know why I was trying to lose weight all the time. Now, after doing hypnotherapy, it has become clearer to me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes. And yours as well, like overcoming that is not easy. And how long did it take you to overcome that pattern, that habit that you had to transform your life? How long did it take you to do that, to work on your mind?
I would say 6 months. That's why the program I then now offer is 6 months, because realistically, that's the time that it takes. And I mean, our journey builds, I think everyone goes through a journey that starts when they want to try something different. They realize this doesn't work. I want to try something different. Yes. So obviously that phase is not calculated in the 6 months. I was ready. And that's also when, a client enrolls. I'm sure you know this. You can feel when they're ready.
Yes.
And transformation can just happen.
Absolutely.
But in order to, make sure that the person is ready, and then that the transformation happens, and then other areas of the life of life adjust to the transformation, I'd say the block is of 6 months.
Yes, that's correct. And what has inspired you? I know the transformation of what you've been going through would have been part of your inspiration to start your own business. So can you tell us about that? What has really inspired you to now have your own program?
Beautiful question. I think it's other people. Like I went into the training, the RTT training, which is a training to become a professional hypnotherapist, without having in mind that I'm going to open my own business. But what was happening? No, I just did it for myself. I was like, I'm going to get such a great benefit from this, and I can help other people, like my friends. But I didn't have that mentality. I still was a ballet dancer, so that was a full-time job. I was working.
And I can remember that. I can remember you were still on your ballet classes, attending the hypnotherapy classes together with me. I remember that. Yes.
Exactly. And so it was really, it was you guys. It was the group of people that I came across with that gave me such a wonderful feedback, but also made me have these moments where I saw that I had been the helper that triggered massive change, a lifetime of change. And that touched me so deeply that I felt like it unlocked this sense, this intuition of maybe this is what I've come here to do.
Yes, you have. Because being on that course that we were together, I was like you. I was only wanting to heal my own traumas. Most of us were on that journey of trying to heal those wounded parts of us. And at that time as well, I had no idea that I would be doing a podcast, Sarah. I started it a bit, but I had no idea that it would become, that I would be doing so many other things and having a business. Yeah, it's like we all have been on an amazing life-changing journey. Yeah, and it's so beautiful to see how you have transformed your life and turned your life around in a very positive way, which is really beautiful. And every person who goes through that healing, I would tell everyone who is watching and listening that healing your wounds, your wounded parts, is the key to your happiness.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And who, Sarah, has been the most influential person in your life and why?
My mom. And I think I came to this realization that it was my mom because of two things. First of all, when we are born, our parents program us. Everything they tell us, it goes straight into our subconscious mind. It determines the people we are, the things we think, how we act. So she's been a huge influence. And then when I was growing up, I was really looking up to her. I was feeling like if I become like my mom, I'm just going to be so happy. I'm going to be this wonderful, amazing person. And my mom is fabulous. But of course, as every human being, she also is a human being. She's imperfect. Yes. And so when I was growing up, I had this feeling of I am taking things from her. Like I want to embody that unconditional love she has, that resilience that she has, that sense of humor that she has.
Right.
But at the same time acknowledge that she's imperfect, like I am, like we all are.
Yes.
So seeing her and going through this transition in my relationship with her has really had a significant impact.
That is beautiful. That is great to have such a person that has helped you to transform your life. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. And what quote, Sarah, has helped you to cope in challenging times?
It was Einstein. He says that the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. Mm-hmm. And every time I read it, I was just, yes, that's it. I need to open up. I need to try something new. And that's what happened with me trying hypnotherapy. I was so fed up of doing the same thing and not having it work, trying so many diets or hiding food, making sure I didn't go out with friends so I didn't eat, all those things. And then I was like, I just need to try something different. And every time I'm stuck, that's the key, it's just release and have a new experience come in.
That is great. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah.
You're welcome.
And what would you say today to the audience who is watching and listening? What would you say to encourage them for those who are facing some tough times today? Because many people are really going through some tough times. What would you like to tell them today to encourage them and inspire them?
Yeah. So whoever is listening to this and is going through a tough time, I really know what you're going through. I really, hand on my heart, have been there, touched what I thought was the bottom and then gone even deeper somehow. And this, I know it takes trust to believe, but it's your portal. It's your calling for change. It's your occasion. Because sometimes we are so ingrained in a way of life that the only way is to feel so much pain that we need to move. We need to change, take action, look for some help. And it happened to me also a few days ago. I was procrastinating on going to a doctor. I was feeling stomach pain. I didn't know what it was. I thought it's just going to pass. And I procrastinated. And then one day I was in so much pain that I had to go. And I'm so glad I went because it was the simplest thing. I needed to I drank a glass of water with, a little pill, and I was fine. And so that's like the message. When you're feeling so much pain, that's your cue to do something different, to do like Einstein says, and try a different way of approaching things. And it can change your life for the better, like 100 times better.
That is so true. And there is a beautiful quote. I can't remember who said it. He said the cave that, I think it's, I am not sure who said it. It said the cave that you fear to enter, or the treasure you seek.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's like going into the unknown, like you did, going to the doctor, trying a different route for your healing. So it's like jumping into the unknown.
Such a beautiful citation. Yeah.
So tell us, Sara, I'm sure you have read a lot of books on your journey of healing and transforming your life. What has been the book that has influenced you the most, and why? Because I think it helps people when we share that, and they can start reading and get understanding things and then start their healing process, because that's how it starts, one way to start it. So what has been that book, Sara, or books? It might be one or two books.
Yes, I have to bring up two because there are two that came in completely different phases of my life and were this like big explosion moment. The first one, I was completely unaware of any self-healing modality or anything really, apart from going to a psychologist that hadn't worked for me because talk therapy just didn't really work for me. So I was quite lost. And
then, Sara, how long have you been to that talk therapist when you realized it still wasn't working for you?
About a year. I had a very severe anorexia and I was really deceiving the therapist. So therapy wasn't going anywhere, it was like banging your head against a brick wall. And that brick wall was my consciousness and my logical thinking mind. I was thinking. And all I had to do was go into the feeling, heal the feeling.
Yes.
So that was the issue there.
Wow. So what are those books? Tell us. I'm so looking forward to know, what are these books?
The first one is a Marissa Peer one. I think you might have read it too. It's titled You Can Be Confident. And Marissa Peer has got such a way of explaining concepts in a very easy way that makes a lot of sense. So when I was reading through that book, I started to convince myself. I started to be like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to follow it. I'm just going to try it out. And that was the first time, I stepped out of my comfort zone and it worked. It's like, oh my gosh, I can reprogram my mind. I can just be confident. I can step on stage and feel confident. I can not freak out before a performance.
Yes.
That was a great start. And then recently I've read I have it right here, by Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. So this is another book, but it looks like this.
Yes.
And a really potent book. I needed to have that growth phase before understanding what he says, but then the message really arrived.
Yes, thank you so much, Sara, for sharing those two books. And I'm sure the audience would have, anyone who might need want some book to read, please get hold of those books, because this has helped Sara to transform her life. So the last question, Sara, I know we are coming to a close, and it's been so lovely listening to you and talking to you. So tell us briefly about what you do and how can people contact you, Sara?
Yeah. So what I do is I help women heal their relationship with food so that they can be confident, powerful, happy in life. And the way that people can contact me or come in touch with me is social media. I'm present on all social media platforms. On Instagram, my name is Food Freedom with Sara. On Facebook, I'm just Sara Nativi, so my normal name. I have a YouTube channel, again, Food Freedom with Sara. And I'm also on LinkedIn and TikTok.
That is great, Sara. Can you also tell us your website, the 2 websites, so people can also go to your website?
For sure. So thefoodfreedomtherapist.com is my website, focusing on eating disorders, emotional eating, whereas for my general therapy practice and hypnotherapy practice is just Sara Nativi, so my name.com.
That is wonderful. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure catching up with you and re-listening to your story that I didn't know so well at that time when I met you. And I'm sure today you've inspired a lot of people. And I would like to say thank you for taking your time to talk to the audience, to share your story, your experience, and what you do. And I wish you a lot of success, Sara. And I will catch up with you in person really soon. And I look forward to our meeting. And I will say to the audience, thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing. And we'll see you soon with another episode of Amazing You. Take care, everyone. Love and light to all of you. Bye.